Welcome into another Team Spotlight. I'm joined today by the new look eUnited roster. Bit of a mixture amongst this team for the most part. eUnited, if you don't... Actually, let's have you introduce yourselves first of all.
I'm Scream, the jungler for United.
Variety, the solo.
And eUnited, the support player.
Fantastic. Now, you guys have all kind of come from last year. You all played. You came back again this year, but this is a kind of a new look team, so to speak. I kind of want to talk to you first of all about like who's captain the team.
Herwin's captain.
Great.
Mostly because he's much better at handling all that procedural stuff than we are.
He's the team slave.
Is that because you guys just don't want to do it?
He got the master bedroom, so it's kind of a trade-off.
Oh, that was the rule? That's a good rule, though, I guess, right? If you're going to do the extra work. How did you guys come to get formed? Like, let's just go through that real quick, because like you're all kind of from all different teams. Sure, some of you got connections with each other over the years, or you don't with any of these apart from Tyler from last year. So how did it come to be?
Yeah, I think originally it was kind of me, Snoopy, Herwin as a group, just kind of looking for other people to join up, and then we picked up Scream and Harry. You know, we know he's a beast, and you know Tyler played with him last year, so that's pretty much how it came to be.
Was that really just how it went down?
Yeah, they had like a group, and I was like, "Yo, can I get in on that?" And then they were like, "Sure."
Yeah, and I was like, "Yo, can I get on that?" And they were like, "Sure."
Cool. Like, was there other options available, or was this like the one you wanted to go with? Did you get choice to an extent?
I asked around, but there was only like one other team that I was considering at the time. But
Who was that?
you want me to say?
I'd love you to. I mean, you don't have to technically, but like this is what the show's for, right? Like the spicy drama breaking.
I mean, I think when it comes to roster construction,
Great save.
You really want to look at how people synergize with each other, how well
Sure.
people get along with each other, because, you know, as the seasons progress, mechanical skill kind of, people get closer together in terms of mechanical skill, and it kind of goes to team synergy and how well you play together, what play style you have and stuff like that.
Chemistry and things like that, obviously. We'll touch on that a little bit too. So obviously you, eUnited, alongside Snoopy and Hurry, when you were the trio that wanted to start off this team.
Yeah.
Why, first of all?
Well, I've played with those guys in the past, and I've enjoyed a lot of success with those guys in the past. I mean, especially last year, you saw big difference in my play, I think, when I got to play with Snoopy versus, you know, the players that I was playing with in phase one. So I think it's just a matter of being comfortable and knowing that I can succeed with these guys.
Definitely want to go through like each of your ends of last year. Sure, you might not want to talk about it because everyone's goal is to win, right, overall, but it's not always going to be the case. Only 5 can really do it, unless you're a coach and you get to get that badge too. eUnited, with you, obviously LG last year, rough situation overall. Like, how do you feel the year went from your point of view?
Yeah, I mean, I think LG was just a huge step up from Trifecta originally in the first place. Like, the Trifecta roster originally, you know, like I said, it's about playing with people that you know and people that you synergize with. And that team was thrown together by the owner and not necessarily by the players.
Right.
Which is why you didn't really see a lot of success there from Trifecta. Immediately on LG, I felt a lot more comfortable with those guys. I felt those guys, you know, more of a sense of community and more that we were playing for each other and not just playing to look good personally. Because I know, you know, a couple guys on Trifecta were playing that way. So, yeah.
Okay. I mean, with LG as well, like you guys went to placements. There was a lot of talk of placements that you guys were probably favorites to come out from the placement stage. What do you feel really went wrong as a team there that you didn't manage to succeed and get to the World Championships?
I think we had a couple guys that were just a little inexperienced on LAN in that kind of high pressure setting. So yeah, we didn't have our best games, but I think if we were performing how we could have and how we knew we could have, then we could have made a splash at Worlds. But
I think the biggest thing there was Sanguine, right? Like they were the ones that eventually took you out to an extent. Like, were you surprised by their performance overall?
No, I expected them to be good, but I think in a lot of the games we had against them, we had a pretty good lead, but we just had a lot of trouble closing out the games. Yeah.
Okay. Moving to you then, Variety. I mean, Dignitas last year, been with them for a little while with the Tricks and Cuvo for a while too. Tell me a little bit about like how you felt, you know, the year went as a whole, because there was always like talk of like whether you guys were all happy together. The performances kind of hit or miss to an extent. How do you feel about it?
Yeah, I think the year as a whole, I think we didn't get on as well as I expected us to get on. That's not to say that we got on, that like we argued every day and all that stuff, but you know, like in scrims, there was a lot of clashes sometimes. And yeah, that kind of made scrimming, I guess you could say, like difficult, and like we didn't really progress that much as we wanted to.
I mean, you still made semi-finals at Worlds, though, right?
Yeah.
That doesn't sound like an achievement for you, right?
Yeah, but then again, we also almost lost a PK with Row solo, so It's not
Hey,
like
don't poop on Rome, man. That was a super sub of super subs, that one.
to be fair, they played really well actually.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think
Are you happy with what you did last year? There was, did you expect finals? Did you expect the win? Is that what you obviously
I
it's the
think that's
goal,
what every
right?
team, when you put a team together, that's what you always expect us to win Worlds, or at least have some chance. And yeah, I think if you don't at least make finals, that's kind of a waste of a year. So,
All right. And Scream coming to you finally, obviously on Splice last year. Got knocked out by the winners, so I guess that's a small boon.
I don't know. I thought I expected to win the tournament, honestly. I think we were heavy favorites as well, like us and Renegades generally. But we came in and we beat them game 1, and then we like choked really hard the next 2 games. Like, I don't know, it just kind of fell apart at the seams. Like, I don't know, it felt bad because obviously it feels bad losing in quarters. Like, especially like it happened in season 5 too. Like, we were favorites coming into that year too, and then we lost again. So it just kind of sucks. Like, I don't know. I've been favorites like 2 years in a row, and then I come in and lose. But
Do you reckon like there's something down to this favorite thing? Because teams that go in as favorites, they really don't end up winning most of the time. It's very rare that teams do that.
I don't know if it's a favorite.
Is it
thing.
pressure? Do you reckon, or is it like just mentality? Do you guys feel
I think
that?
it's just that the tournament's more unpredictable than people think, especially when it gets to land. So if a team's a heavy favorite, to me that means they only have like 20-25% chance to win, whereas other teams maybe have 10%. Whereas some people might think like, oh, Splice is going to win. They probably have 75% chance to win or something like that. But I don't think that's how LAN works.
yeah, I think it's also just like whose weekend it is that year.
Yeah.
And I think that's honestly a big part of who tends to win Worlds. Don't get me wrong, like teams like Energy or Epsilon, like they were very clear favorites to win. They obviously went through and win the whole thing. But you have teams like Splice from season 6 who were last place in Spring Split, and
We'll definitely touch eventually on like getting hot at the right time, because that's really a big part of it. And I think more of the teams have started to discuss that a little bit more. Coming back to you real quick though, Scream, you came in like halfway through the season as well, right? Because there was obviously Splice had their internal drama, made some changes. Why didn't you start the season off in the league, by the way?
Well, I was like on my last semester of high school, and I figured that I might as well just finish it before playing again. And I actually got pretty lucky with the Splice situation because their games got like delayed for visa or Divios's visa.
Yeah.
So they only played like 3 games before I came in, and then we were able to turn the season around with when we got Baskin for the first split, and it really set us on a good course.
Speaking of like turning it around and things, did you all always have like hope or like expectation that you'd do well that year with that team, even though you'd like made later changes than some of the other teams?
Yeah, I think at the beginning of the year I wouldn't have like been on that team if we were like doing roster changes like at the beginning of the year. But I think the way it worked out was actually pretty favorable for me because like I got to play with the champions for season 5. Like that's pretty cool. Like Aurora and Cyclone, they're beast players. And then obviously I played with Ven again, and I like playing with Ven. He's a good guy, good teammate. And I don't know, I just like that team kind of. I mean, we didn't have like the best like memories, I guess, but like I kind of enjoyed last year a lot more than I thought I would.
Cool. Because that's the first year we've really done the whole LAN thing. You guys are all living in team houses, moving to the States. And I want to kind of touch on that for you two specifically, because you're North American, correct? Scream? Yeah. You two, however, one UK, one obviously from Canada. Why have you chosen to come back again? Because a lot, that's always a conversation point of like, you guys have to come out here and live here pretty much for the entire year. Did that like come into a conversation for you guys? Why did you choose to come back again is a real question.
Yeah, I think it's more of, a trade-off. You have to decide what you're trading off moving down here and playing Smite. And for me, it was really, I'm not always going to have an opportunity to do what I love to do, which is play video games and, compete. So those are 2 things that I really like to do. And, I get to live down here, see my friends all the time, which is really awesome. So yeah, it was more of a pull than a push, I guess.
What about yourself, right?
I'd say it's similar to the same thing. I think a lot of players are quite ungrateful and a bit disrespectful in terms of like seeing this as a job, or like people say they're quitting because their money's not good enough, even though it's perfectly fine. Yeah. Anyone's lucky to be in our position. We get to pretty much live for free. Compete, play games for a living. Like I don't know how anyone can complain about what we do.
I think it's funny because I think there's a look from the community that like some players might be ungrateful or not realize it, but every single one I speak to about you're all here, you're all passionate and hungry. You all want to do it. Sure, money will always come into the equation, but that's any job, right? Like wherever you go, you're gonna want to earn more. Trust me, I get paid in gems. Like I'm kind of used to that situation there. Org, obviously eUnited. Why was it eUnited you chose? Do we know that? Obviously, I know you just said Horrywin was in charge of all this, but like, how come it ended up with eUnited?
I mean, they just showed a ton more interest than a lot of the other organizations.
Yeah.
And they made it clear that we were the roster that they wanted to sign and that they were looking forward to working with us throughout the year. So that just made it a really easy choice for us over the other organizations.
And how have they been so far? I mean, gaming house all good and stuff. Like, are you in a house, first of all?
Night and day compared to last year.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah. You all feel the same sort of way? You all happy with them?
Yeah, I'm really happy with them. I think that our moving process into our house has been really good. I think Clerky came out for a day and he helped us out with it on the first day, and that was really helpful. He took us out to eat and stuff, you know. Clerky's a good man, but I think
Well, you got a bit of, you know, reputation with him because you've worked with him before, right?
Yeah, Clerky is like one of the best like GMs I've worked with.
What is it about him that like, you know, allows it to be so easy to work with?
Well, he started Enemy like way back when he was in college, so he's kind of had to like work his way up a lot, and he like understands a lot of like what players like go through, because like he's pretty young himself. He's like 26 or 27, I think. Mm-hmm. So he's pretty young himself. So I think he just gets a lot of people more than a lot of other people do.
Oh, it's good to hear. Right, we're going to move on a little bit then to esports. First of all, let's get back on the subject for a second. How do you feel about the changes to the esports situation this year? Sure, we had like, you know, we've seen adaptations over all the years, but I just want to kind of dial into this year and like the changes we're going to see in terms of the format, the play style, the play amount, so to speak. How are you all feeling about those things?
Yeah, I mean, I think best of threes is going to be much better than best of fives, especially because it felt a little weird last year going maybe 2-3 weeks without playing a best of five set. Maybe you could like even start scrimming on a whole new strategy, whole new picks before your next SPL game. Whereas this feels more like a regular league style than it did last year. And, you know, we can step up to the best of fives for LANs, which I think it's cool. You know, you save the best of fives for the most important LAN games and then just best of threes for the regular season.
You all feel the same way about the best of three, by the way? Because like that's been a conversation that the community may not understand, that the players are also on board for this too, right?
Yeah, I think last year in Dig, we kind of got, not screwed over, but, you know, like our schedule wasn't really the best. Like we'd play one game, then we'd have like 2 or 3 weeks off, then we'd play again, and then another 2 or 3 weeks off. And there's also with the whole visa thing, which obviously isn't in Harris's control, it's down to the orgs. That kind of messed up a lot of phase one, which was in general really bad, which is why I kind of think we fell off a bit.
Yeah.
Because
the big gaps in between play, right?
Because we were undefeated until like 7. We were like 7-0, I think. And we just took like a really long break. And it's kind of hard to keep motivation to like scrim every single day when you know you're not playing for like another 3 weeks. So yeah. Is
it kind of tougher this year then, if like, because everyone's going to play every week, right? That's the whole idea this year, is that you should all get games the same week. Is that going to make it a bit trickier on how to prepare and plan for these games?
I actually prefer playing like on a consistent schedule, because I think that it's way easier to keep your level of play up generally. Mm-hmm. Like you said last year, like the gaps, they kind of affect you like more mentally than like gameplay wise, I guess. But I think that playing every week is going to be good generally for most teams, because they're going to see consistent improvement hopefully across the season. And I think that the strategies are going to shift at a slower rate than they did last year, like between games. So I think that'll be generally overall better. Interesting
you touch on meta there. We'll get to that in a second. I think the last real thing on like the whole scene as a whole is like, how do you feel about the way the standings are going to work this year? You know, the mid-season LAN and the points accruing in phase one and over to phase two. You think that's a better system?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's much better, especially, you know, for you guys on Dig. If that was a point system last year, you know, you'd have a much better seeding going into Worlds, because you guys did much better in phase one. I think it's important for all the league games to count. It doesn't really make sense for the spring split to not be weighted at all, but it doesn't make sense for the spring split to be weighted as much as the fall split as well. So this is a really good in-between compromise, I think.
So we feel like we're getting there.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Season 7, we're getting there. That's a good start. Season 7, though, changes to the meta, changes to the jungle, changes to the map as a whole. How do we feel about the state of the game right now? Like, your thoughts on it? Are you happy with the changes? Did you expect more? Did you want less changes? What are your thoughts?
I'm actually pretty happy with it, like this patch specifically, because last patch, like hunters, they would build 90% crit and they would just kill everything in front of them. But this patch is spectral, which helps with that. I think that jungle is in an okay spot. I think the items need to be nerfed and the gods might need to be brought up a little bit, like across the board. Mm-hmm. But I think that the game's in a pretty good spot. Like between the mage changes and support is a little bit better now, I think.
Okay.
So I think it's overall good.
I'm going to touch on solo in a second, but for eUnited and Scream, obviously you guys like you end up rotating a little bit more around the map, and the change to the left-hand side of the map or near the Gold Fury side, like we've seen some extra camps appear. We've also seen some dynamics in the walls change as well. Do you feel that's going to have a big knock-on effect? What do you expect to change there? I'm not after leaks more than anything else. I'm just more like, your general thought process.
I think that mages and mid become a lot safer with the mid camp change. Like gods like Zeus or whatever don't have to be as scared around that portion of the map, so they can walk more freely from like lane to red buff or so. So I think that'll impact mid laners more so than any other role.
How do you feel like for yourself? Because supports have a trickier job than most in a lot of people's eyes because nobody wants you in lane most of the time.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I mean, with more XP over on duo side, that is going to pull supports over to duo side much more than last year. But I think the supports are still going to be roaming around the map a lot more than I think people expect. Yeah.
Okay. And how do you feel about the jungle changes in terms of like the invade attempts at trying to like nullify it a little bit? There's been conversation about people saying it might not be enough. It's not going to do anything. How do you guys kind of feel?
I think that Hog definitely helps. I think that Hog actually helps like your first clear a lot more than I thought it would at the beginning of the season. Like you could just buy it on most characters and have it be good for like the first like minute of the game or like your first clear. But I think that it doesn't really stop the problem before because the support can still follow you and still mess with you for a good portion of the early game. But I think that it definitely does help the jungler.
Yeah, a lot of the reason why the invade was good wasn't, because you're stealing the speed buff. It's just you're harassing the jungler and making it so he can't do what he wants to do and path the way he wants to.
As effectively as he could do, right? Yeah, okay, that makes some sense. And how do you feel about the free wards, by the way, real quick, before I touch on solo? How do you feel about this? The wards that we're going to be getting at the start of the game?
They're good for ranked because if people die, then I can say like, just use your ward better.
That's great for you, right? As a jungler, we're like, oh, no jungle ganks, ward, right?
Yeah. It's just I think the ward's generally good though. I think that it helps like the game feel a lot better in the early game, and people don't get like level 2'd by a jungler randomly every game, so it just feels a lot better.
Yeah, it takes a lot of frustration out.
Yeah.
In the early game.
Okay, that's good to know. What about you for the ward first of all variety? Like solo, is that going to impact you? Because I've noticed like when the games get serious, solos do buy the odd ward to protect themselves, but now you might not need to, right? No,
I'll still buy 2 wards.
Oh, you will?
Yeah,
okay.
I don't think the trinket ward or whatever is, it doesn't last long enough, and I don't know what it is about it. It gives like a little smaller bit of vision, doesn't it, as well?
Yeah.
I think.
So it's slightly smaller and only lasts like 60 seconds is the real difference.
Yeah, it's definitely not as good as a real. I would say it serves a different purpose than
It's good to like
awards.
Say if you're trying to get that back camp, just throw it over the wall. You see if it's up or down. It's like okay,
cool. I don't have to rotate round now because it's not up. Or I can now. How do you feel about solo though, variety? Because like I've not really had a chance to talk to a solo about solo lane. Like it's been kind of quiet. Obviously, Tomaku's still there. A bit of adjustments there. How do you feel about like the meta in solo is going to look this year? Yeah, you're happy about it? You're sad about it?
When I first seen the changes, I was actually pissed off.
Yeah,
with like the lack of changes. But now that I've played it out a bit, I think the gradual nerf opens up the solo lane a little bit more, so there's more gods to play, which is always good. Totem still the most important thing in solo.
It's crazy that because like that was kind of a secret thing that the casuals didn't really cotton onto is how important the Q seemed to be for pro play. Like there was composition designed around getting pressure on that Q, right?
Yeah, and it's also helpful when your mid laner and ADC is whining down your ear about it. So
just reiterating the whole time. Do you feel more useful because of this Q, or do you just feel like it's an extra task that you're gonna now deal with?
I think it's a pain in the ass.
Yeah,
I'd much rather like Iona come over and just do it for me, and I just sit in lane still.
Yeah, sometimes I have been coming over there and slapping it down.
I'd rather split a wave than do the coup.
Really?
Yeah.
So you'd rather have the support come... I mean, to be fair, I think a support could take that trade-off.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind.
Although,
I'm just there.
I was going to say, the Q takes a bit of a while for a support to do solo, though I'm not going to lie.
What else am I going to do? I'm just a support player.
That's true. So. Die and steal farm, right? That's about it. Real quick as well, the Chalice, right? In the jungle. Yeah. Like, is this in the same vein as Variety with the Q? Is this a new thing that the jungle's like, man, I've got to do this now? Or... are we expecting to see the priority of who does that shift? Is it going to be a mid laner's job, a support's job instead?
Well, it depends on the day for me. Like sometimes I'll do it and I'll be like, here you go, guys. Here's an extra 40 gold. Yep. Or I'm like, I'm walking past it, like doing like 3 other camps at the time, and I'm like, yeah, somebody else go hit that. Like I'm not really in the mood to do it.
Okay, so you're just gonna like pick and choose. Like,
yeah,
I need 40 Gs. I'll do it for myself.
I think there's a bit of a natural progression that we'll see. Like players start to get used to who needs to go for the shrine at what time. And, if the jungler's on the other side of the map, the mid laner goes and hits it or, something like that.
Do you think there's going to be new pressure points this year on the map at all? Or is it going to be, we're seeing a lot of the 3 in mid sort of thing. I think there's still some farm there, but the angles have changed. Are we going to see any different pressure points potentially this year? Do you expect? I'm not expecting leaks, obviously. I'm just like general talk here.
Maybe around like duo side because there's less ways to maneuver the map because of the wall change. But other than that, I think that'll be relatively similar.
We'll probably see less people sitting around in mid than we did last year just because of how much safer the lane is.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And there's a little bit more farm on the left, I guess. Is that going to trap the support to an extent a little bit more towards mid and duo rather than being a bit more free roamy, do you think?
A little bit, but I haven't really seen that so far in my experience right now in Season 7.
So moving towards the competition this year, how do you feel about, the state of the teams, the other teams that you're up against this year? Like how does the league look to you? Is it daunting? Is it, is it free? How do you feel about it?
I think the teams are generally okay. I think some of the teams might have downgraded overall between their roster changes, but I think that it'll be fine. I expect to be good, top 3 at least. But I think the teams, they're okay.
What about yourselves, Ferrari?
Yeah, I generally agree. I think the teams, I'd say Renegades or what they call now, SSG. Yeah. The SSG roster with votes, I think that's an upgrade. So I expect them to be number 1 at the very start because obviously Twigs switched to mid now. Yeah, I think the PK roster, it's hard to place them because they did just win Worlds, but at the same time they were 7th all year round.
Yeah,
and they almost didn't even make Worlds in the qualifiers. So yeah, it's hard to place them. Maybe I think they'll probably drop down a bit in the actual rankings, but when it comes to tournament time,
they'll step it back up, right?
Yeah.
And yourself, Yannick?
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people are underestimating, Renegades, Sanguine. A lot of people are saying Sanguine shouldn't be in the league, which I completely disagree with. I think they definitely proved their worth last year.
I mean, they made
were
Worlds,
beasts,
right?
Yeah.
They did go through placements.
We scrimmed them going into MSI, and they were putting in work on us. So
yeah,
and every team who scrimmed them pretty much said that they're all good players.
I think even like the ranked mentality of these kids as well, like the Sanguine team, like everyone seems to like Twitter talk about them all the time. Like, man, these guys just go try hard all the time.
Yeah. They definitely have the right mentality to be at the top.
So on that subject, I know you kind of give me an idea of this already, but I would like your top 2 picks of like if Worlds comes round, end of the year, you guys are not involved, right? You can't pick yourselves. Obviously, I expect you to pick yourselves. What are the 2 teams you expect to see in finals within yourselves this year? As a starting off guess.
I would say the safe answers are SSG Rival, but I don't know. I think the PK roster too with Fred could make it as well, especially because they're on LAN.
Yeah.
And they always turn it up on LAN.
I actually don't know. I think that towards the end of the year, I don't know how Sanguine's going to progress, but I think they could be good. I think that their team synergy is actually going to be a lot better than other teams.
Yeah.
Throughout the year. So I think that
they're living together now too.
Yeah. I think Jarkor and Shinto are really good players. I think that if the other players can not like step up their game, kinda like not really like in that term, but like I think
adjust basically.
Yeah, I think that if they can adjust to like how the game's played, I think that they could be good. I don't know if they'll make finals, but I expect them to be actually a pretty good team.
Okay. You still give me an answer though on who you expect finals. I'm just gonna be clear on that.
I mean, I think the SSG roster is gonna make finals if we weren't involved, of course. But
of course,
yeah. And then I think that who's the other team that I'm missing?
I think it's all Ghost is what you guys are probably like. That's why the secret superstar team that everyone seems to like. The community is really on board with.
Yeah, I think that Ghost might be one of the first super teams to actually like work. I think that Aurora does a really good job of getting his team on the same page and having them like work in a way that makes them able to win. And I think that they could do that this year. What
about you, Variety? Where's your money?
Yeah, I actually completely forgot about Ghost. So yeah, I put Ghost and probably SSG.
Okay. I was gonna wait till you give your predictions to go. So what about Ghost? Because like no one's really mentioned him so far. Turning back towards like in-game stuff for a second. Who's your overrated picks? Like, I don't want your OP picks right now because that's giving secrets away. Who do you think's overrated right now? By the community, by people that generally who play the game. Do you have any of those?
What's it? Dude, I'm forgetting one. I think, it's on the tip of my tongue. I'm forgetting his name.
Give me an ability. Give me like what he looks like. Give me anything.
Oh, it's Jing Chen. I think Jing Chen might be a little bit overrated because of how the support changes went. Like last year, he was really good because he was like a free roamer and he's really hard to kill regardless of how much farm he has. But I think this year he might be a little bit worse.
How come?
I think that if people are starting duo, that he's just generally worse when people start duo because he's worse for the waves.
It's lane pressure, right?
Yeah. I think that, and he's going to be like, I don't know, easier to kill kind of because the state of the game is a little bit different.
Okay.
So I just think that he's going to be a little bit worse overall this year.
What about you two, Yannick? Right? You got anyone that comes to mind of like, I think they're a bit overrated?
I think teams are really rating Heimdall quite highly.
Yeah.
And I think that's a bit of a new god syndrome. Like everybody doesn't know exactly how to play around him and what to do about his ult, what to do about his TP ability. So I think he'll slowly fall in stock as we see the phase 1 progress.
And yourself, right?
Does the community still think Achilles is good?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I'd say he's probably overrated.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. How come? I'm intrigued by that one because like he's someone that's like, his statistic wise of like what we've seen so far, he seems still pretty good.
Yeah.
What is it that like you don't
depends
like
on the role. If he's in solo, he's definitely a lot worse than he used to be, especially with the Glad Shield nerf.
Right.
Even though before I didn't think he needs to Glad Shield on him necessarily, but now that makes him worse. They also nerfed their 2 again. And yeah, in jungle terms, I don't think it's the god, I think it's the items.
Okay.
Since the jungle items are just broken.
Right.
So, yeah.
It's really funny that Scream's just nodding along there going, yep, they're broken.
Yeah, the items are really overtuned, I think, for jungle, and I think it might be the only reason assassins are good.
That's crazy. When you get a jungler or anyone from their role to go, yeah, we're broken. That's crazy. We don't.
Well, what do you think the solution is then? If the items are
do my job for me, and I'm just gonna sit back.
well, I'm just if the items are overtuned.
I got quite a list. I think Transcendence is really overtuned. I think it gives you like 80 physical power or something. I think that
By the time this goes out, by the way, there is a patch today, and I'm pretty sure Transcendence gets hit. Just so you know.
all right, good.
So just give you a little bit of a heads up. So when people go, wait, what are they talking about? It just got nerfed. I just want to save you.
Well, hopefully Heartseeker's on that list too, because I think Heartseeker's overtuned.
I don't know about that one. I just saw Transcendence is on there for something.
Well, there's like 3 items in the game that give you 75 power, and like 3 years ago, the max was like 50. So I think that the power has gone way up. I think Heartseeker Edition makes it to where you can actually kill people late game, which is good. I think the items are like kind of good.
I think Heartseeker should be what it is right now, in my opinion.
Yeah?
I think at least assassins need like that one item, which is like the old Rod Tahuti for mages. I feel like
it's like a tank killer is the reason for that.
I think assassins need a similar item to that. So I don't mind Heartseeker as much.
It's definitely interesting to hear. You did mention Heimdall there, Ionic, as well, and I was going to turn towards new gods as well. Like it's been a while since we've had a season that kicks off with like almost multiple gods that are going to be available for the first time. I mean, Yemoja, Heimdall, Mulan, they're all going to be coming into play this year. How does it like change for you guys when a new god comes in? Like, do you guys get your hands on straight away with a new god, or are you guys the sort that just kind of wait for it to hit ranked before you really start to care about it?
I usually wait for ranked. I think that. Well, I don't play a lot of casuals generally. I pretty much play only ranked. But I think that you'll see like the good players in their role practicing the new character, and you'll be able to make a good estimate off that. Like for example, this year I think Aurora was one of the first players to actually like play Yemoja a ton in ranked, and like people got a really good understanding of like how the god can be played or like how good she is from him. At least in my experience, that's how I figured it out. But I think that depending on each role, like the character or the role release, I think that you usually get a good idea of where the character stands from those players in ranked.
What about you two, right, Yannick?
Yeah, I mean, with Yemoja, I generally don't play the new characters until they come out in ranked, but Yemoja is just so much fun that I was just playing her all the time. And yeah, so usually I would say I don't touch them until scrim/ranked, but
unless it's an exception, right? Yeah. And yourself, obviously, I don't think necessarily many of these. I mean, Mulan, have you touched Mulan yet, or care about Heimdall?
I've not played Heimdall, but I've played Mulan quite a few times. But the thing is about playing in casuals or on releases, it's a mirror matchup all the time. You don't really learn anything apart from the kit.
Sure.
So yeah, I usually just, unless it's King Arthur. King Arthur was the only god which I got him to rank 10 before he even went live on ranked. So
really, how come?
I just love the god.
It was just like the style.
He was super fun. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, so when it comes to like competitive play with these new gods, that's one thing I want to touch on. Of like, it seems like every team has a different like vision of how we deal with the new god. Of like, are we just going to auto ban it? Is it mainly going to just mix up picks and bans a little bit more for you guys with these new ones being, there's so many of them to an extent?
Yeah, there's a few characters that like you'll figure out that counter the new god because there's always characters that counter. But okay, thank you. Sorry. But there's new characters that counter it, and but I think that it'll probably just mix up like bands or like how people pick around the character. But,
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. It's good to hear that as well, like just to do with how you guys like deal with those sort of things. So how's the house set up anyway? You've all got like one big place that you're all living in together now. Yeah. Who's got the biggest room?
Herwin does.
Herwin?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How did he get it?
Well, he kind of had to deal with all the off-season like team stuff like that. So he kind of claimed the master bedroom, but we were like, okay, that's fine because he kind of did have to deal with the most stuff during the off.
Yeah, I was gonna say
he
like
also
you,
did
you-
like all the house hunting as well. So
Oh,
he
so-
went and viewed like I think about 15 houses. So yeah.
I was gonna say I know like Tyler last year had a few issues in the dig house of getting the better room, right? So I guess that was one of the thought processes,
Yeah.
right? That's an
Yeah.
interesting bit. Okay, let's turn to some questions about the house, right? Some of you guys haven't lived together yet, so you won't have some of these answers. But that's kind of what we're up to here. Who do you reckon, if you already know this is great, but who do you expect you're not going to want to go in the bathroom after?
Scream.
I'm fine. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, it's only gonna be me, Snoopy, and Yonik sharing a bathroom because
Also the separate bathrooms.
yeah. So he gets his own bathroom and Hurry gets his own master bathroom.
So there's 3 bathrooms in this place too?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So me, Yonik, and Snoopy will share. I'll probably say Snoopy.
Probably Snoopy.
I have a feeling.
I was gonna-
He seems like a
Between
dark
you and
horse.
Snoopy, yeah.
Yeah, I have a feeling.
Yeah.
A stinky horse is what you want to say there, not dark. I was going to say, who also takes the longest showers so far?
Hurry. He takes like 45-minute showers.
Does he?
Yeah.
He's definitely the worst for that? Okay. Have you done much cooking so far?
Yeah, a little bit.
Who's the worst cook?
I'll take that one.
Yeah,
do
I
that,
watched it firsthand. It was
What was he trying to make?
was beautiful. Just some chicken.
What went wrong?
Well, the beginning I kind of like forgot to put oil in the pan, and then yeah, it just kind
And
of.
then he kind of threw half a jug of oil in there.
Yeah?
Yeah, maybe put a little bit too much.
You were frying it,
but,
really? Yeah.
Well, kind of.
Like a chip pan?
Yeah, kind of.
Okay.
We're going to get some team meals going. So we're all, cooking for 5 and we'll see how it goes. We'll all improve.
I was going to
by
bring
the
that
end
up
of
as
the
well. Are you guys like planning on going grocery shopping together? Does someone take that responsibility in the house? What's the sort of plan there for it?
year. We haven't really talked about it too much, but we'll probably do a mix of both. Like sometimes we're ordering food. Maybe we'll try like one night we have a team dinner. We all cook or 2
And
nights
you all
a
get
week or
food
something.
poisoning or something.
Yeah, if Scream's cooking.
Well,
I don't want to cook for others. I said that when I don't want to cook for others because I might kill them.
do you reckon you're gonna divide the fridge? You're gonna divide the fridge up, or is it gonna be like a communal thing where you're gonna share? What do you expect? I'm trying to work out where you're at so far. Because how long have you guys been in the house together so far? I mean, it's been 5 days, so you probably had to get food in at some point, right?
Yeah, we just kind of know.
It's just kind of been a free for all so far.
Yeah, we just kind of know which stuff is ours, and we kind of don't
Okay.
eat each other's stuff.
Next couple of questions then. Who's the messiest? You've already got an idea in your head.
Probably
of who's the messiest.
Hurry. Well, he just kind of leaves it. He's like left his like trash bags on his desk, but we're actually not messy, like in a way.
You say that now.
But yeah, I mean,
Just so you know, these team check-ins are going to happen pretty regularly for you all. So, like, we'll come back and go, so are you still the messiest? And then you're like, no, this guy's awful.
yeah.
I hope I'm not jinxing it here, but I'm pretty confident that we're all going to pitch in and do our share of the work and keep the house looking nice.
Yeah.
Looking forward to these tweets, boys, in a few weeks' time when this goes wrong. Who's the cleanest, do you reckon?
Harry, maybe? Harry cleaned my smoothie thing the other day, so I was like, big surprise.
What a
there.
gentleman.
I'm a nice guy.
What a
What
guy.
a gentleman. Did you want to use it?
No. I mean, the thing is, I don't really use the dishwasher. I'll just clean my own stuff and put it away. So if anything's like lying around, I'll just do it because why not?
Man, your house proud there.
It's a good man right there.
Who's the loudest in the house?
Hurry, maybe?
Probably Tyler, yeah.
Probably
Yeah.
Harry, yeah.
Quietest? Wait, Horrywin's the loudest?
Yeah, I am.
Have you,
just-
have
he's
you
just
seen
kinda
him play
talking.
ranked? Have you seen his Twitter after ranking?
I mean, yeah, but I didn't think he was going to vocalize it. I thought he just did all that on social media, right?
He's just
No,
kind of
he
a talker.
vocalizes it on both.
Does he?
Yeah.
Gotta let you know. Who's the quietest then?
Ionic.
yeah.
Probably Ionic.
Keep yourself to yourself? for the most
Yeah, I'd
part?
say so.
Okay. Who's the laziest?
We're all gamers, so all of us.
Probably me.
Look at you, diplomatic answers. You're the laziest?
Yeah.
Least intelligent.
I'm not touching
Not
that
me.
one.
Not me. Tell you that much.
Well, it's not Tyler because he has an
It's
engineering
Snoopy.
degree.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he has the
Snoopy.
degree.
Just because he's got a degree doesn't mean he's not stupid.
I mean, he's an
like-
engineer.
Well, he
though,
is
so,
stupid.
You know,
That's not good. Let's get that straight. He is stupid.
Okay.
But he is
But is he
smart.
the most stupid is a different story, right?
No, probably Snoopy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've not even met the guy, but definitely Snoopy.
what an idiot.
I've definitely noticed that when I've been doing these with the teams as well, everyone has always chosen the people that are not in the room. So for the safety factor, I get the idea. Who's the most intelligent then?
Me.
Of course.
That's two.
It all
means.
depends. Is it in my context? Because definitely Scream.
What about cooking?
Uh,
Clearly you
I
over
think-
him,
Harry.
right? If it comes down to that.
Yeah. I think Snoopy, he said he's pretty decent at it, so maybe
Okay.
him. actually.
Funniest?
Tyler.
Is it when you say
Tyler's
when we say
self-
funniest?
his
I don't mean laughing
self-deprecating
at
humor.
him.
Probably
I mean
Harry.
laughing with him.
Probably Harry.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's also like the first European I've played with, so the way he talks is just kind of funny to me. Well, not-
All I
yeah.
hear is brother.
The whole time. I was going to bring up one thing as well for you. This is like previous teams you've always been on an EU focused team. Like the last time, obviously Horriman was on your team last year, but he was like the standout NA guy. How is it living with all these North Americans so far? Like, do you expect things to like change as the season goes on? Is it going to be a bit of a weird dynamic because you're the only EU kid?
Not really. Like I'm pretty laid back and I get on with everyone. So
Yeah,
I think I could probably go into any team and just be friends with everyone.
just
honestly.
fit in.
Yeah.
I get that. All right. Well, we're coming towards the end of this, thankfully. You guys have been great so far. A couple of last questions for you. This one is for each of you. What are you most excited about for the start of the league this year? Like, what are you most excited about the league starting back up?
Smashing rival.
Yeah, putting Mike in the dirt for sure.
Is it really all about killing rival?
Yeah. That's kind of my goal this year, to just beat them every time.
Why rival? Why Mike?
Well, they're my former teammates.
That makes
for,
a lot
for
of
me, I just think that I beat them last year, of course, when I played them, of course.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I just love playing versus those guys, mainly because they're my good friends as well, and beating your friends, competition is always fun.
Yeah. And especially because they were like pretty much, well, they were first all year. They made finals as well. So it's always nice to, compare where you are to where other good teams are to get like a good idea of how good you will be or you actually are in that moment.
And you said as well, Ionic, rival too?
Yeah, I'd say teams I'm most excited to play against rival, and then obviously my former team Obey. Excited to smash them too.
Okay. Well, opening week's coming up, right? We're going to go through, I want your predictions for the opening weekend. So I'm going to read off the matches and I would like a prediction from each of you of each of the matches. Sadly, the first opening match is this game we're talking about right here, eUnited versus Rival. What do you think the result's going to be? And I'm not going to be shocked by the answer here, I don't think. But here we go.
Rival
we'll-
2-0.
2-1 for trolling.
We'll win.
Wait, he said Rival 2-0-2-1 if you're trolling?
Oh, no. United 2-0.
Okay.
United 2-1 for trolling.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll win because I'll bring my A game, like I do every year.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, it's just so nice this year is I don't have to worry about any games because I have Scream.
You've got Scream, so you're good to go.
Exactly.
I will note at the time of recording this, I checked some of the statistics yesterday, and the community have you at 6% chance to win so far. As in, 93% of the viewers in game have chosen so far Rival. How do you feel about that?
Rival's also like a fan favorite team,
I
and
think
we're kind of like
They're just not very smart, are they? 6% of the
6%.
actual 5 heads.
Well, none of us are posting dog pictures on Twitter, so I think more dog pictures you post on Twitter, the more votes you probably get. So maybe we have to step that up this year.
Do we have pets at home, back home?
Back home, yeah,
well,
but
I do.
not back here.
Got to get
Illinois.
those pictures sent in, man.
Yeah.
You got to do it. So
yeah.
right.
But
Okay.
I think that Rival's just a fan favorite team. They probably will be all year. I mean, they have they have Fine OK, who's a really big streamer. Panda Cat's becoming a big streamer too. He's been getting those numbers up.
Yeah. Mike's just got like a really good personality as well.
Yeah,
So,
Mike is obviously a shit poster.
I know, and he got fans dressing the crowd this year,
Yeah,
which is mad.
yeah. People
Like,
love
it's
Mike.
insane.
I mean, he's a really easy guy to root for. Like, you just love to see him win.
All right, don't get too much. How do you guys feel, real quick, on that estimation though? Like, realistically, you guys are kind of not being spoken about too much of as a team of they've got shots at this, right? How do you feel about the community's perception of what your team's going to bring this year?
Well, I think people are forgetting that I'm on the team, of course, right?
That's a good point.
Yeah,
I also don't think they've really seen this out of your personality as much as they may have wanted to realize this.
Yeah, I mean, not to brag, but I've kind of been the best player in my role for the past 3 years. So I think that people are forgetting that, or they don't know that, but I know that, and I got to keep that up.
And the rest of the team, how do you feel about your? Is it better to be seen as underdogs or not noticed rather than being favorites? You've all probably been in positions before where you've been favorites too, and is it a better feeling to feel like you're a favorite, or is it more pressure? more chill for when the hype moments come. What about yourself, Yannick?
Yeah, I think I prefer being the underdog as well. I mean, especially after last year, I think people are expecting me and Snoopy to be like a bit of one of the weaker duo lanes. So I'm excited to prove people wrong.
Okay, eUnited versus Rival done. Next up is Knights versus Ghost.
I don't know. I think it depends on how good Ghost gets a grasp of the meta or how they want to play, because I think that team can be good. I think Knights, they'll probably be more synergized in a way first weeks or so. So I don't know. I think it'll be actually a close set. I don't know who's going to win.
If you had to put your viewer points down for that Odin skin, where are you going? You're going
probably Ghost.
Yeah. Yannick?
Yeah.
I'm going to go Knights to be different.
Oh, well, Yannick sided with 15% of the community so far. Only 15% think the former world champions with 4 members strong can beat Ghost. But then again, both teams have had a lot of changes, you know? Like, Ghost is pretty much a new team together with a super name, but then Knights, changing your jungle, does that make an impact?
I think it depends on the jungler. Like, I don't know how much Sam like shot called for the team last year. I don't know if it was like mainly Neil or however that worked. But I think Cubo is like a good fit for that team. From just like thinking.
I think historically Kivo's gotten the better of Kenneth in the regular season.
That's a good point.
For the most part, so that could be interesting to see how the jungle matchup goes.
Especially with both on new teams too. You feel any different variety or the same thing? Because you're the EU spice here that like knows those players a little bit more. Sure, you team with Cuvo for quite a few years.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I love Fred to pieces. So I wouldn't say 2-0 or like 2-1 Ghost because of Fred. I'd say it's because of the other, like Aurora, Cyclone.
The other factors, right?
Yeah.
All right, next game. This is, for me, game of the week. So you all know, right? Sanguine up against Obey. Where's your money?
Sanguine.
I think Sanguine 2-0.
And go Sanguine 2-0 as well.
I'm going to reiterate this because yesterday the PK team sat down with me, said the same thing. Community are at 10% for Sanguine.
Well, Obey has weakened, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it can't be voting against
So,
Kirk, right?
Yeah.
That's the reason for it, right?
Well, yeah, I mean.
But you all feel Sanguine 2-0, 2-1?
Yeah, I think Sanguine 2-0.
I don't even know who's on our bait, to be honest. So,
Ducky, Weekend, Wolfie, Wowie.
Jesus.
Yeah, Wolfie's back.
Yeah, make that 2-0.
Okay. And finally, the last game of opening weekend is Space Station Gaming up against Renegades.
I think Space Station.
Yeah, SSG.
I go SSG 2-0.
This is G2L. That's 85% SSG. This
Dude, Jake's on Renegades, huh?
Does that change your opinion at all?
Make that a 3-0.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Jake might be better than people think.
Yeah?
I think if he plays like he doesn't
think
rank,
so.
I think they will actually be pretty decent.
There's a real talk about Jake, and we'll touch on that towards the end real quick now before I let you guys go. Like, the community's perception is, and like what people are getting the idea of is like he just goes 0-15, 0-20 in lane and then still wins games. He's still in the high level. How do you guys feel about it? Because like it's an interesting point.
I don't know. Sometimes getting Jake on your team, like you're feeling good. Sometimes he plays solo support at 1 a.m. and you're like, why am I even queuing up? Like, this guy's ruining my games. But I think that Barra playing with Jake is actually like pretty normal for Barra. Barra's always been the type of guy to like say like, oh, this rookie in ranked, like let's pick him up and see how he does. Like he did that with Baskin, and I think his like philosophy for that type of stuff has been kind of the same sense.
You said he's got kind of like a good eye for it. Good eye for talent. Or
Not really like a good eye. He's just kind of like he's like
give it a go.
He likes thinking that rookies are gonna like perform well.
I'd say that Jake and Barra probably complement each other.
Yeah? How so?
Yeah, I think. Well, if the only reason is if Jake plays like he does in ranked, then I think he will be way better than if Jake played like a standard support. You know, picking all the support picks. I think Jake will be obviously. I don't think in the first few weeks because probably like I'm pretty sure he's pretty young. I think he's like 18 maybe, and it's his first time in the SPL on LAN as well. So I think he will be pretty nervous. But yeah, I think like him being aggressive and like doing all this weird stuff probably help Barra in some way. Like be more aggressive in general. Because I think Barra and Jeff were pretty passive.
They were before, yeah. And now it's a bit of a change. You know, like obviously, you, like for a second, you said something a little bit different on the Jake subject. Obviously, he's coming in as a support player too, which most people don't realize how difficult it is trying to get into the SPL as a support because you'll get focused straight away. And
Yeah, I think a lot of people, I mean, the difference between support in ranked and support in SPL is pretty massive because there's just so many spots that you don't realize that you can just die. Like you could be, I don't know, at your own red buff and there could be 3 people just coming in and you don't expect it, you know. I think Drake really thrives, you know, in the mud of the rank scene where it's a little bit chaotic, but when things get organized and teams are communicating and stuff like that, his play style is not going to work.
Okay. Well, we get to see all that.
For the record, I think Jake is an upgrade over Jeff.
Okay.
Because I think Jeff had a really bad year last year. But so I think Jake will be better than him.
Well, we'll get to see how they do in that opening weekend too. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining me. Hopefully we'll be doing more of these in the future. Any shout outs you want to give before I let you go?
Shout out to eUnited. They've been really good with the moving process and helping us out. And yeah.
And Clarky.
That's part of eUnited, right?
Yeah. And my dad.
And yeah.
Yeah, your
Mr.
dad
Goat.
always around, right? Always helping out.
I know.
Was he helping build the house I saw? Right?
Yeah. He helps us out. Well, he kind of does my job for me. So I kind of get it off easy. But I mean, he's just goat dad.
Yeah, he came in, fixed up a bunch of stuff around the house. I don't know what we do without him.
I'm sure I'm going to get an interview with him at some point this year because he's been around for a long time watching. He's been to every pretty much land you've been to.
Yeah, he loves it. So
thanks so much, though, guys, for tuning in. This was eUnited, and we'll be back in the future with some more of these. Catch all these guys at the weekend.